All right, just like it was announced, we'll be having a discussion on gender, career, and life choices. And I have beautiful and handsome people here with me. I have Juwon, who is an experienced, entrepreneur, and also the VP2 of the Redeemed Christian Church of God National Teens Affairs, who is also a regional president, and also David Imumwe, the man in ministry. It's really nice having you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. All right, so very quickly, I remember when, I'm still a teenager though, but far back, I had to make so many decisions, especially that period of my life where I wanted to get into the university and all that. It was really call it a really trying time for me because there were a lot of decisions to make. Okay, what's the next phase of my life? Where am I headed? What's the next thing? Like a lot of choices to make. And, looking at my peers already were looking like they had things planned out for them. And on my end, it was looking all not planned out, actually. So let me start with David. As a man in ministry, all right, so what do you have to say for teenagers who have the passion to go into ministry, but yet they are still finding it difficult to make that decision? What do you say? What's the drive, for these teenagers to pick that particular choice of?
All right. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much. If I got your question right, your question is how can teenagers who are aware that they are called into the ministry be successful in that line, right? All right. I will say first of all right. Your association matters a lot. All right. I believe not just even ministry. If you want to pursue your career, your destiny, I believe it's very, very important that you have somebody like a mentor, like a life coach in your life, all right? Somebody that even when you are down, even when you don't have enough courage in yourself, can make you believe in yourself, all right? So you being aware that God is calling you into the work of the ministry, I believe you should get somebody you can submit under, someone that will guide you, especially as a teenager, because there are things God might show you, God might give you instructions to do, and you might believe you know how to go about it. But no, when you have somebody that is experienced, he can guide you or she can guide you and help you, go about whatever it is you need to go about. And then your association matters a lot. The friends, you can't say you want to go into the work of the ministry and then you're associating with people that don't like, that are not passionate about the things of God. It will kill that drive and kill that vision. So associate with people of like minds, very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for that. I hope we're paying attention. Your association matters when you want to go into ministry. You can't have the wrong association and expect to thrive in ministry. It will counter every single thing that you've ever planned out for that particular line. All right, Juwon, you are someone that is, there's a particular man in the Bible who excelled in craft and, he was really skilled. So now, as a person in business, would want for you to, tell us how God has helped you so far. Basically, practical approaches. Let's just know how it was for you to, pick that particular business and also thrive in it. How did you, just give us practical approach.
Good morning, Nesusa. Thank you for having me. So I started my business mid-2020 in the midst of the pandemic, and starting at the beginning was not that easy, but God helped me find my focus in the midst of pandemic. I was able to pick up something which is meaningful, something that I love, and it has been working well for me.
Wow, that's a whole lot. Finding, focus in the midst of pandemic. Because that pandemic period, a whole lot was happening in Nigeria, a whole lot was happening, and you were still able to find focus. Wow, that's really impressive, I would say, because I'm sure I have teenagers here who are looking forward to, thriving in business, but yet they are still, uncertain about where their focus should be. Some want to go into, let's say, baking, and at the same time, some want to go into ministry. Some might be wondering, okay, how do I balance these things up? How do I balance this? So I'll be coming to you, Olarinwaju. So speaking of balancing stuffs, how are you able to balance, seeing that you are a man in, the administrative line, you are in school, you're also, doing some little work on the side and all that. So how are you able to balance things up and also time management? Let's just know because a whole lot is happening in your life and yet you are still able to manage these things.
Thank you very much, Sosa, for having me. Um, I said something earlier that the pursuit for life management or to life management is a lifetime journey. And meaning that every man works every day to make sure that everything is in place. And I remembered when it first started. I mean, I was very overwhelmed, so much overwhelmed. Like, how do I do all these things? Because you have offices to handle in various levels, in various organograms. You have, things to do in school. You have business itself. Business was also there. And, one thing I learned or one thing I used was setting priorities. And that was one thing that helped me because I realized that if there was no priorities being placed or being set, I would just do everything with no direction. So I believe that a man that knows his priorities, a man that has direction, and you know what to do and when to do it. It says in the book of Ecclesiastes that there's time for everything. And when you don't have that wisdom, then you start doing the right thing that you're meant to do, but at the wrong time. It makes that right thing wrong. Not because it is wrong by the nature of the things you are doing, but because of the time which you are doing that stuff. So one thing I learned is that have priorities, set priorities. I remember sometime when my mentor told me something about, laying down your plans for the day. Meaning that before the end of the day, you have a plan for what you want to do the next day. And that helps you and segues you to know what I need to do. Oh, this is what I need to do. So I'm not just going into the days unprepared. I'm going prepared because I know what, okay, when I wake up, these are a set of things I've planned out for myself. Okay, I need to do this. No, so when I rate my day by the things I've done, and how many of my to-do lists I've been able to mark out. Do you understand? So that has helped me setting down priorities and writing down your plans for the day. That has very, very much helped me and helped me manage my time to the best of my abilities. Thank you very much.
Wow, come on, teenagers, are we listening to this? Come on, I would like for us to celebrate these people. Can we just put our hands together for them? Please, let's put our hands together for them. These are awesome, awesome points that are being raised here. I would really like for us to take notes and also apply these things in our life. Apply these things either in business, ministry, whichever line you would want to, dive in. Just apply these things, all right? Thank you so much, Olaniwaju. That was really beautiful. I love the fact that you mentioned priority, because most times we have teenagers that have displaced priorities. Most people don't know what should come first in their life and what should come after. So let me come to David now. As a man in ministry, I would like for us to give us two practical approaches. Let's just know how you are able to manage time and also keep your focus in the midst of ministry.
All right, thank you so much for this question. The first thing is to set a structure, all right? As a student, you might even be a student, be a career person, and yet you are in the work of the ministry, all right? So it's very, very important you have a structure, practically. You have a time. Scripture was speaking in Acts chapter 3. Peter and John, he said they were going to the temple at the hour of prayer, all right? So I believe in structures. You said a structure, a realistic structure, a time you know that there will be no interference, there will be nothing to prevent you from having that time to yourself with God. A time where you pray. Because those are the basic foundations, your prayer life, your study life. If it is not intact, there's nothing like ministry. Ministry can't be successful, all right? So you need to set a structure, your prayer time, your study time, all right? And you do it daily and consistently. Then number two, I made mention of it already, your association. You need to find a company of believers. Because whether we like it or not, for instance, look at the case of Jesus. He went to Mount Gethsemane. That was his down moment. But he didn't go alone. He went with Peter, James, and John, even though they were unable to pray with him. But he went with some people. So that shows us that our association matters a whole lot. All right. There will be times where you are down, but the people you have around you, if they are burning, they will help you.
Put our hands together for David. Do I have teenagers that want to go into ministry here? Because these are the things you would need, and these are the things you should look forward to in ministry. Thank you so much, David. That was really, really awesome. I really loved the points you're really raising here. Man of fire. I celebrate you, sir. Thank you so much. So I would like to hear from Juwon. You'd also give us two practical, approach to these things. How? Because yours is really, really, inspiring. The fact that you were able to focus in a time of pandemic. So during this period, because a lot of things were happening, so how were you able to manage your time and also maintain focus at the same time excelling in business?
Thank you, Esosa, for this question. I feel one thing that has helped me, same with what Larry said, is setting your priorities right. You need to know what you are supposed to do and when you are supposed to do it. Most times, when I got back to school, I had an issue with balancing business and schoolwork. But in the end, I was able to balance it. In the end, I just had to tell myself, I won't take others during the week because my course is a very strenuous course and I cannot balance a medical course with baking. So I just told myself, Juwon, just focus on weekends only. And with that, I've been able to know when I know that, okay, for the weekend is for my business. Then for the week is just for my academic work. So setting your priorities right and knowing when to do it and when to do it and doing it at the right time is what will really help. Then another one is, it's actually the same thing as Larry has said, having a to-do list. If you don't have a to-do list, I don't know how you go into the day, into a new day, and the whole day is actually going to shatter because your mind will be in different places at the same time. You have to focus on one thing at a time. But having a to-do list has really helped me. I've been able to focus on each task at a time. That has really helped.
Wow, come on, I expect that we should be celebrating Juwon by now. Come on, teenagers, can we put those hands together? If our hands are not so busy, can we celebrate these people that we have up here? Please, just celebrate them, celebrate them. Thank you so much, thank you so much. I really enjoyed what you said. Let me just give like an example. For me, I actually experienced that when I got into school. This school vibe, you want to also thrive in business. And I had this particular business in mind. And then I was just in 100 level. So it was really difficult for me trying to balance lectures, business, and also church activities. You get? So it was really I was here, there, and I was really lost. Then I had to tell myself, no, probably this is not the time. So I hope we were paying attention to what Juwon said. For those of us that would like to thrive in businesses, whichever career line, let us make our priorities right. Set your priorities right. Know when to go for lectures. Know when to take orders. Know when to deliver. Know when to deliver. It's really important. It's really important that we learn these things. Know when to take orders, just so it does not affect your GP, because your primary assignment there is education. Wow, thank you so much, Juwon. That was beautiful. And I loved what Larry mentioned the other time. You spoke about his mentor, telling him some things and that. I really believe that we should also have someone we, look up to in this line that we are, thriving in. And I also believe that accountability is also really key. Because if you were not that accountable to your mentor, you wouldn't have really been able to manage all those things. So speaking of accountability now, how do we, teenagers, because we are still teenagers, how do we teenagers get someone that we know that we can properly, account to? Because some teenagers might want to look up to someone and that might not be the right person. imagine myself, I want to go into ministry, and I am, will I say, accounted to someone that is a business person. You get, they might find, we might have people in ministry that are also thriving in businesses, but there should be, there would be a major and also a minor. You get, so I would like to know.
Praise the Lord. First of all, I'll speak on the issue of accountability. Accountability is a very essential part of one's life, especially a person that wants to be successful. But one thing about accountability is that you need to make the choice of discipline for your accountability to matter. And I read a post some days ago about something about you can change your life like at this very moment. A lot of people will be like, I don't like this, the way things are going for me. I don't like the way I'm not doing well in school. I don't like the way I'm not doing well in business. I don't like the way I'm not, prospering even in the works of the ministry. And what that particular statement just made me understand is that we hold the key that lead us to the path of success. And we make that decision. It's an instant decision, the decision of discipline. Now, when you've made the decision, that is when you can now go ahead. Because, accountability now is another issue because, first of all, you need to be accountable to yourself also. Because if you're not accountable to yourself, when people are not there, it's very easy. I mean, I've been in that situation. I can forge up something. You can ask me something. I can say, this is what I did. But if I'm accountable to myself, I know that, this thing, I need to do it, and I need to be accountable to myself. I know that, okay, I cannot hide from myself. I can hide from everybody, but I cannot hide from myself. So, and concerning the issue of finding a person to be accountable to is a very sensitive issue, and I believe that it's something that should take the wisdom of God. Wisdom of God. Sometimes people feel like, I scroll through the internet, I surf through the web, and I saw this person, I think this person should be a mentor, and let me just go under him without having the directive from God. And that has hindered and affected a lot of lives. Not because of the person or the figure that you are looking up to is not in the right standing with God, but no, you can make good decisions and you can make right decisions. It might be a good decision because of what? The person. But is it a right decision for you? So that issue is one thing that I believe that teenagers miss a lot. And I expect that we use the wisdom of God. It takes prayers. It's something that needs prayers. You need prayers to be able to decide who your mentor or who you'll be accountable to. Because some people, you can be accountable to someone that would actually is not even accountable to himself. Now imagine that kind of scenario. So I think that case needs prayer and needs the wisdom of God. And also it needs you to make that decision to also be disciplined enough to be accountable to yourself, even when no one is watching. Thank you very much.
Wow, come on, let's celebrate Larry. Come on, can we put our hands together? Can we put our hands together for Larry? Teenagers, if your hands are not so busy, please, I would like for you to celebrate these people up here. Thank you so much. I really like what Larry said. Knowing the right person to be accountable to, and also to be accountable, to yourself, because so you don't make wrong decisions. Wow, that's really, really inspiring. That's really inspiring. So I'll come to you, David. Now, as a man in ministry, I believe you are also, accountable to someone. So I would love for you to tell us, this thing that has to do with accountability. Were there times that you were, let's say, lost and you were just in your down times in ministry and you had to just, go to someone, either a mentor or someone? Because sometimes we teenagers, we believe that, the people we celebrate, the people we see up there, these people are just so perfect. And it's like, no, I must also be perfect. And in the B2B, focus and consistent, sometimes we get lost and we struggle. So let's hear.
All right, thank you very much for this question. I said it before, everyone has a downtime. And for the mentor-mentee relationship to be very profiting, you have to be intentional about it, all right? There are times where you might be experiencing some stuff and the person you are submitted under might not be aware. But for you to receive help, you have to go to the person and talk about it. So you have to be intentional. It has to be somebody that you revere so much, and somebody you have a revelation of, that God has brought this person into your life to guide you into destiny. So you must be intentional in maximizing that relationship. So even when you are down and it might not be obvious, you are battling with stuff secretly that you know is eating you up, you should be intentional enough to go to such person and talk to the person about it. So it must be somebody that you have a free relationship with, somebody that you can access at any point in time.